Welcome to the Diary of a Christian Single Woman, where you hear her innermost thoughts and prayers while also hearing the Lord's response in return. Sit back and relax, grab your journal and pen, pour you a cup of coffee or tea, and go on this journey to self-discovery and growth in the Lord. It's time to spill the tea, sis. Hey now. So I feel like I'm in a classroom with my hand raised and saying, "Ooh, pick me, because I have a question. And I need you all to help provide some answers to me." I know y'all probably like, what in the world? But yes, all right, so hear me out. This may be a bit of a venting session. It won't be long, but it's my confession, right? Okay, so here is my question. How in the world do those who date more than one person at a time do it? Like, seriously, this is such a genuine question because I have seen singles talk about this. And, they talk about how they're going out on all of these dates and learning about all of these people. But I always wonder, how do you figure out how to narrow it down? And then also, aren't your heart and your feelings going to be all over the place since you're entertaining more than one person at a time? For me, I feel like it's doing too much because how can you keep your time split between multiple people with everything else you have going on, right? Like, you got your job, you got your family life, you may have a business, you have church, you have multiple outings with different people, different conversations. You have to learn multiple people's conversation styles, likes and dislikes. You also have to continuously repeat yourself because you're allowing multiple people to get to know who you are. So you have to explain yourself multiple times. I'm just tired of saying all of that. I know many women do it. And trust, I'm not judging because I've admired those who can do it. But for me, I just can't. I don't know. I guess I know it's not for everybody, but I always wonder the mentality that you have to have in order to be able to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that, it's the mentality is wrong or off or something like that, but I just kind of feel like you have to be of a certain mindset to be able to do it. I could be wrong, but maybe there's some compartmentalization or some very specific boundaries that you may set. But I know there has to be some type of a mind switch to be able to do that. I personally am a one man at a time type of woman. For me, that suits best because of my personality and my temperament. I would not physically have the level of energy needed to date more than one person at a time. Given what I have going on in my life, I would only have time for one at a time. And sometimes barely have time to do that. I have to be intentional about opening up my time to be able to give to someone else, which I am all the way here for. So I've heard multiple dating coaches say that it's not good to do that, to date just one person at a time, because then you tend to put all your eggs in one basket. And then if it doesn't work out, then you may be left hurt and devastated, But if you were dating more than one person at a time, and then if someone decides to leave, then you still have the other person. But my question is, won't that still hurt though? I don't know, y'all. Because you did give that person your time and attention, and you gave them, enough thought about them, you like them enough to date them, and then it doesn't work out. Wouldn't that still bother you? I don't know. I'm legit asking these questions. And I don't have the answers because I've never done it. But these are the things I think about when I think about the subject, because I've always thought to myself that maybe I should try it. But then I think, but how does someone have the energy to do it? I don't know. Like, I barely have the energy to work from home. Then on the weekends, get dressed and go to the grocery store and run my little errands, let alone setting more than one date with more than one person. Like, how are you really able to give someone a fair shake? Give someone your time, like in my head, when I think about it, I think like, okay, I like this one guy and we're dating and all is going well, but I also like this other guy and we're dating and all is going well. So how do you determine who you want without you being hurt, or the other person who is not being chosen being hurt? And so I guess the goal would be for, him to be a multi-dater as well, so that you're not the end all be all to him if it doesn't work out. But then to me, I'm like, but doesn't that seem disingenuous? I don't know, you guys. Like, it would make me think like, did he really like me in the first place? Or was I just a time filler? Like, am I the only person that has these questions and thoughts? I don't know, y'all. Is there a strategy? Like, okay, so it reminds me of a particular TV show on OWN, where they have to talk to, get to know, and date multiple people at a time and then narrow it down, right? They're doing this in one another's faces. And it's interesting to me because you can see how the women start to get really invested and then start shading the women who like the same man as them. And then in the end, they're like, oh, he's going to have to choose her or me, but he can't have both of us, And in watching their processes, I just be like, I can't do it. Like, I just don't think it's for me, y'all. Ooh, it stresses me out to even think about it. I don't know. I mean, I know the concept of dating, which, they say is like the interview process. So until you decide to get exclusive, you're just kind of vetting the person out and all of that. And I understand the concept. I really do. However, it's just the idea of the split times and the split feelings thing. That's what gets me. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in this. Y'all gonna have to let me know. Like it has nothing to do with what does the Lord want me to do or anything like that. Like, this is just my opinion, that it is more personal dealing with one person at a time in the dating and getting to know you stage. Like, I feel like it's just more hands-on that way. You can really give that person a fair shot to determine whether they are the one for you or not. If they are, great. If they're not, great. Then you can move on to the next person. I don't know. Maybe people that are multi-daters are able to weed people out quicker than someone who is only one person at a time. That's a thought. I guess typically when you're only one person at a time, it could be longer stints of time before you find someone else, unless you're an avid dater and you're out there all the time, Say, for instance, you're always on online apps. So in the event it doesn't work out with someone, you kind of already have someone else lined up, even though they're not the main one yet, something like that. It's an interesting topic to me, y'all. It really is. If you're a multi-dater, then do you tend to always have someone on speed dial and can continue your dating process? Or do you have a line of people just waiting to get their turn with you? Like, these are genuine questions. I don't know. Like, I've never been in this situation. But I do see the argument on both sides. And so I really wanted to talk to my sisters that do have the ability to date more than one person at a time, because it really does intrigue me. Like, it really does. Is your heart involved at all in the process, or is it just your feelings? I want to know. So if any of my sisters out there can enlighten me, please do. I'm not saying I'll change my mind about what I believe works best for me, but I definitely want to understand the why behind doing so, like behind being a multi-dater, So in continuing the conversation, you just may convert some single daters to try multi-dating. You never know. So let's talk about it. Thank you for listening to the Confessions of a Christian Single Woman podcast. Remember, ladies, that God loves you immensely. There are no bounds or restrictions to his love. Always seek his face, hear his voice, and live his word out loud. If you have any questions that you would like to hear addressed on this podcast, you can message me at the Confessions of a Christian Single Woman private Facebook page or on Instagram at Confessions of a Christian Single Woman. Also, when you follow the private Facebook page, you will be able to see me go live every Monday night at 7 p.m. to continue the conversation. Until next time, may the peace of the Lord go with you this week.